Hello everybody and welcome back to iCommand. TV Boy here, and I want to thank everybody for being patient while I took a bit of a break from making these videos, just so I could focus on doing other work for Imperial Assault and kind of relaxing and not relaxing really, but slowing down a little bit and pacing myself. It was good to take a break from YouTube for a bit, but we are back. Don't worry, I've got more campaign videos coming soon, but I want to focus more on Skirmish now that we've gotten into the competitive portion of the season for IACP, the Skirmish Continuity Project. We've finished up playtesting period, and also a reminder, please go vote in the community vote on the Season 9 cards. There's only 16 cards this season, there's not 36 plus cards like the last seasons, so it should be very quick and easy to vote on these ones. And we need the community to give their input, because this is supposed to be a community-driven, community participation project. This is not just putting out new content to people to see if they like it. We're supposed to be engaging with you guys, interfacing, getting feedback. That's how all this works. Like, we're not just creating and changing stuff on our whims. We're just the top level people who put in the time to organize it so that other people in the community can just relax and enjoy, take and play with the content. But we do take your feedback, and we want to make sure that the community is getting their approval stamped on these cards before we permanently add them to the skirmish game. So make sure you go to that. I'll put the link in the description. It is open until the end of March 15th. So if you're watching this, it's probably going to be on the 13th. So just a couple more days it's going to be available. We did extend it to 2 weeks instead of just one due to technical production delays that kept it from getting released on the new cards from being released onto Vassal in a timely manner. So this is actually the second week that it'll be open and available to people. So anyway, let's move on. We're going to do some skirmish log reviews for the season 9 for the new cards, for the updated cards. Remember, we came out with the season 2 months ago, and then it got updated after a month of playtesting, and then we did a final update, a lot more cards in the second update. That is now going to be the final versions that people are going to be voting on, and so that's what we're going to be watching today. And we've got the Ewoks on display today, the Ewok Warrior Group. And we're playing also on a new map. So we just had a map rotation that's going to be effective March 11th. We're in kind of an interesting period because we were supposed to have the community vote done a week ago, but again we pushed out a week. But we didn't want to delay our organized play events that we had planned because it kind of followed the monthly. It followed the calendar a little more strictly to make it easier for people to keep track of when events were starting. So we're in a bit of a limbo period. We're actually having our first competitive tournament for March, but it's using all of the playtest cards, not just the ones that get approved, because we haven't gotten all the approvals yet. So this might be the only tournament in March where we see cards that if something doesn't get approved by the community, this will be the only time we get to see them in competitive play. But that being said, I think this was just a game for fun. We've also started doing a league system on our Discord, so definitely check that out. On the IACP website, we've got full details on how the organized play is going to be working this season. I'm really proud of the system that's gotten put together to allow people to play more competitively online than in past seasons, and I think people are really enjoying it so far. That being said, the whole point, what I was trying to say was we had a map rotation for March 11th, which was supposed to also be the day that kicked off competitive play after the community vote. So the new map is ISB Headquarters, and I am working on a video about this map. I think this map has been generating a lot of discussion in the community about how to play it and what types of units are good, and more specifically, what types of units are really struggling on this map in particular. This is the first time we've ever had this map in tournament rotation, and we're really starting to get a feel for how it plays now that the community is playing games on it. As I've discussed before, the committee tries to play test things as much as we can before we put them out, to make sure that things are working or functional. I think we established that this list was baseline functional as a skirmish map. There wasn't things that stood out to us as being horribly broken or frustrating to deal with during initial playtesting. We playtested it for a couple weeks before we announced it. But as the community is playing more and more, they're starting to find things that are a little bit challenging for certain lists to deal with. So we're going to get to see some of that. But this match in particular, people were asking me to do a game log review, so this is what I'm going to be starting with. Match also got discussed a bit in the Discord, and I shared my thoughts on it there. But now you all are going to get to see it played out, turn by turn, action by action here. So all that to be said, we've got John in the top red deployment zone. Is playing Rebels, and he's got the Ewoks, and he's got Ewoks being held in reserve with Lion Ambush. So this is a really great card for this map because it's not a lot of places you can hide on the approach, and you're going to have to move 6 to 8 spaces just to get from one safe area on the map to the opponent's safe area. So if you can use things that either give you lots of extra movement or cheat movement altogether and just let you deploy right behind your opponent, those are going to be very strong, very useful. So I think Lion Ambush is going to see a lot more play as we go into this next map rotation competitive season. So we've got the Ewoks being held back with Lion Ambush. And then we've got some Wookiees with them. We've got Chewbacca and Garkon along with Chirrut Imwe. And then we have the care package of Gideon, 3PO, and R2-D2. And looks like we've got Doubt and extra armor as well. And John is playing against Jayjaxx, who has initiative and has taken the blue deployment zone, and he is playing a trooper list in Empire, led by Director Krennic. We've got 2 sets of elite stormtroopers. Both have the suppressive fire, and I think I can pull that up here. Yes. Both have the suppressive fire attachment, which is reduced to 0 points thanks to the elite heavy troopers special ability in IACP, which lets you attach any attachment to them for -1 point. And then we've also got advanced comms on Krennic, and then we've got the Death Troopers as well. These are the same as in the base regular game. 2 Elite Death Troopers. And then the new addition from Season 9 is going to be the recosted Imperial officers at 4 points. And interesting. So we've got those, and we've got Zillow Technique, extra armor, and Rule by Fear as well. So let's see what's going to happen. We're going to have a very interesting turn 2, as I understand, and we're going to see a strange corner case. What can happen with Lion Ambush when you have things like Death Troopers in a list. So let's get to the gameplay. Starting off with initiative, Jay has, I think, might have more. Well, we've got 6 activations on John's side if you minus the Ewoks. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Jay is not going to be able to pass. Although if he activated his Death Troopers 2 at a time, he could pass. But we're going to start off with Krennic. Oh, let's mention the mission here on this map. This is Mission B, Infiltration Games. So figures can retrieve a tap that matches their deployment zone color. So both deployment zones start off with 2 taps in them, and they are at the back of the deployment zones. So as you can see, Krennic just picked up one of the 2, and then there's 2 back here. And then figures can interact, so that costs an action to pick those up. And then a figure that's carrying those tap can interact with one of these neutral mission tokens here called panels to install their tap on one of those panels. At the end of each round, each player gains 4 VPs for each installed tap they have on the map. And once a tap has been installed onto a panel, figures can attack that panel, and it has 5 health and 1 block for defense. So you can destroy your opponent's tap once it's been installed. So you only get 2 to start with, and so if both of them get destroyed, you no longer have any way to earn VPs on this map from the objectives. So it's a very interesting objective for this map. It's very action intensive. You have to spend an action both to pick up the tap and to install it. And then these panels are very exposed. They're not, other than maybe this one, these 2 are very easy to shoot at. So it's something that you probably don't want to do until later in the game. but it's also something you need to be aware of, so that if your opponent installs theirs early, you have a way to punish it and destroy their panel. So 3PO going to start off, going to focus Chewbacca here. I remember I was a little unsure about John's opening in this game. I will say that this was very early on. This was from a couple weeks ago, I believe. So the map had just been announced. It had been pre-announced for those going to Adepticon. We're going to need to use it. And what was I saying? Oh yeah, and so, you know, players are still learning this map for sure. And there's a lot to learn on this map. So that's why we're going to watch this. So we've got lots of tokens being given out by Krennic and the Death Troopers. Death Troopers really work really well with Krennic, obviously. We've got Gideon, who has now focused Garkon and pushed R2, which is important because the red deployment zone, you need to move R2 forward, otherwise the terminal is too far away from your deployment zone to be able to draw with Scomplink, but Gideon helps with that, allowing John to draw with Scomplink here. Elite Officer going to control the terminal, and I don't think anything was drawn for Rule by Fear, unless that's what they're doing now. But I didn't see a card get discarded. Although, well, he's got 5. I think he must be resolving his Rule by Fear right now. Alright, John being very aggressive here with turret. And this is actually a bad play per se, because this, where turret is right now, as long as this door is closed, the only way you can attack turret from here is from this square and forward. So as we can see, Jayjaxx is moving everything to the right. It's going to be difficult for him to get to turret this round. So it's actually not a terrible play, especially since John's going to ostensibly have initiative next round. The problem with this maneuver here is that Jay can very easily open this door himself. He doesn't risk a whole lot because the only ranged attacker in John's list is Chewie, who doesn't have very good range. And once he does that, he can easily move a figure here and attack turret, even though it's range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The heavy troopers actually don't struggle to hit range 8. They have made, well, I guess so, range 5 minimum. So maybe they do struggle to hit range 8 a little bit. So actually, yeah, I don't hate this move here as long as the opponent's door is still closed and it's like later in the round and they don't have so many activations they can open their door with. Especially if it's if you have the last activation of the round, I think this is a good place to position for the red deployment zone. I think this is bad. This, if you're coming from the blue deployment zone, you can't really do the same thing because this can be shot at from, I believe, I don't think it's here. Oh no, yeah. Your opponent can hit you from this square right here, and without the blocking terrain there, it's very easy for them to just, if they have a bunch of figures over on this side, they can just be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna move over here and shoot at you, shoot at your guy that tried to sneak up on us. So this only really works from the red deployment zone. If you're attacking the blue deployment zone, you're gonna have to do something different. I think this is better if you're coming up from the blue deployment zone, but I'm still experimenting with approaches for melee and close range lists. So Jayjaxx gonna activate the heavy troopers. Oh, actually, is activating an officer, which gave a full move to a heavy trooper. But now Jay has blocked off his doorway, so he's actually not going to be able to open it this round. And then Chewie is gonna... So Chewie now going to open his own door. Which again, I think seems reasonable here, but I'm learning that you actually really want to keep your door closed if your opponent has a ton of ranged attackers on their side. I think it's better to just keep your terminal door closed. And oh, look, that he put Garkon here. This is not a safe space at all, because as you can see, it is very easy to attack this space from the blue deployment zone. This heavy trooper started here. He went 1, 2, 3, 4, and is now going to get a free attack on Garkon. Pretty much free. If he had gone here instead, that would have been a lot safer. Let's see. Yeah, because you can't draw line of sight. So I think this would have been better for Garkon. And then he could have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and gotten some attacks off in here on the next round. Which means that if you're playing blue, by the way, when you're playing blue deployment zone, yeah, so I think that's interesting. I think so. I do think this is a valid approach for red deployment zone, and maybe if you're playing as a close range or melee list, red deployment zone might be better for you if you can mitigate the issue with the terminal and R2D2 if you're playing R2D2. Alright, so opponent is going to get initiative. Jay is going to play covering fire. I don't know what did he discard for Rule by Fear? Oh, it's over here. So he must have discarded urgency. Okay. And by the way, I have the map image a little bit squashed for you guys on the screen, so it's a little more squashed up and down. That's because I wanted to have the taps visible for this game, because they are unfortunately very relevant. But it looks like Jayjaxx did pick up both his taps, one of which was picked up by Krennic, the other by the Death Trooper. But John has not picked up either of his and has moved everyone out of the deployment zone except for Gideon. So John did not bother to go for to pick up the taps before he left his deployment zone, and I think that's going to make it so that you don't have the option to score later on in the game, because you're going to have to go all the way back to pick them up with an action, and then go all the way back to the middle. I think you do really want to pick them up. You want to make it a point to deploy somebody there in the back to pick up the taps so that you can have somebody. Even Gideon, I have found, if you leave Gideon in the back and then just use one of his actions in like round 2 to pick up the tap, you should still be able to focus somebody outside your deployment zone with Gideon, and then like in round 3 or even round 4, he can start to move forward and then be able to score his tap on one of the panels in the last round to get you like that 4 VPs you might need to win. So it's just something to think about if you're playing Rebels. So anyway, it looks like there's not going to be a take initiative here. There's going to be a call to Vanguard though, so that is going to be trouble for Garkon. He's going to spend the block token though with 2 blocks. Looks like he's going to be okay. He's just going to take 1 damage. But he is going to get stunned, it looks like. How did he get stunned? Should just be weakened from suppressive fire. I don't know why he's stunned. Oh, because of covering fire. Okay, that's why. So Jay played covering fire, which gives all of his troopers surge to stun. So that's rough. That's really rough for Garkon. And now we're going to see this heavy trooper is able to open the door and attack. So I'm not sure why John did not activate somebody. I guess he didn't want to waste his activation with Chewbacca, but he could have moved Chewbacca out of the way and then debts repaid if R2 went down. But now these heavy troopers are going to be able to put some attacks into Chewbacca here. Chewbacca rolls a dodge, but that gets converted into an evade, which is going to do nothing against this. And it looks like he has a range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, he's with the +3 accuracy. The heavy trooper is going to make range on Chewbacca for 5 damage. And yeah, that's a problem I've noticed with opening your door thinking you're safe when your opponent's all piled up against their door and has left it closed. Like, I keep getting punished, or I have gotten punished by the opponent just is like, okay, well, my attacker is sitting next to the door, I'll open the door, attack, and then I can have chain into another figure, have them move up and attack, and now you've eaten 2 attacks, and you probably don't have a good response. So we're going to weaken with Suppressive Fire. That's going to allow another... Oh, he's going to use it to move the officer out of the way with Suppressive Fire, and now the other Heavy Trooper going to move up. And you're going to take a shot at Garkon, this time from range 5, so he doesn't have the option to miss. Sorry, not Garkon, I said Garkon, Chewie. Oh, Chewie rolls really well there, so not going to take any damage. And then it looks like we're going to see I believe this is where he plays Strength in Numbers to activate the Death Trooper. So we're going to see a big deployment activation chain here. We had Call the Vanguard, and now we're going to do Strength in Numbers off of the Heavy Troopers to activate the Death Trooper. So Death Trooper now going to attack Chewie. 2, 3, 4, 5 with the power token. That is then doubled by Krennic thanks to advanced comms, which can reach 3 spaces. And that is going to do against 2 blocks. We've got 2 surges, so that's going to get through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 5 damage again into Chewbacca, who only has 14 health. And going to use that Field Tactics ability now to activate an officer. And it looks like the officer played single purpose, so it's going to be able to use its Executive Order ability twice this activation to get 2 more attacks. So this is going to be a 5 attack chain into Chewbacca. It's not looking good for Chewie here. And the Death Trooper did give a power token to the Heavy Trooper, who is now going to attack Chewie. Spends the damage power token, going to take a strain to double it with Krennic, and 3 blocks. So it looks like 4 more damage. I think that's going to put Chewie down, unfortunately, for John. So it's going to be 11 points. So didn't get to activate Chewie. Yeah, probably kicking himself for not activating Chewie there when he had the chance. I think because I'm pretty sure John passed. So he passed, and then he left Chewie out in the open. It can be very easy to overestimate the durability, especially of your queen pieces in this game, but figures just hit hard now. Even 4-point figures can deal a lot of damage once they're set up and they've got everything going for them, right? Jayjaxx has his setup here. He's got Krennic boosting their damage. He's got officers giving out free attacks. Like, his engine is going, and John has not done anything to disrupt this engine or force Jayjaxx to move in a way where he can't get all of his effects to go off. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it's just sometimes it feels like, well, I've got this 11-point figure, surely it can survive 1 round of attacks from my opponent. But as we can see, there's some powerful combos that players can pull off if you just passively allow them to do so. And again, no slight on either players playing here. I'm just kind of thinking out loud about what I'm seeing in the game. I know people have wanted to hear more critical analysis on these games to kind of help facilitate growth for everybody. Yeah, so now we're going to see Retaliation played by Garkon? Yeah, Garkon. Garkon. I don't want to get the names wrong. Garkon's going to play Retaliation since he's a Guardian, another figure was defeated, and going to gain the 2 damage power tokens since he's already focused. He doesn't want that part, and he's stunned, so he's not going to be able to move. So Retaliation, very flexible, very carefully selected abilities on there so that players can get the one that benefits them the most for their Guardian when it gets played. Kind of reminds me of like a charm in Magic, where you get to choose from a variety of different small effects, where you probably wouldn't play any of those in that card for any single effect if it only did one of those things, but because it can do any of the 3, it's quite useful. Alright, so what did we see? We saw Call of Vanguard, and then we had the Heavy Troopers activate. We strengthened numbers, which allows you to activate another group immediately if the total group cost is 12 or less. So heavy troopers are 8, death troopers 4. So we went strength in numbers into death trooper. Elite death trooper use field tactics to activate the officer, which use single purpose to get 2 executive order actions. It's pretty cool use of single purpose. It's another card we haven't often seen. It's not a card that IACP has bothered to touch. But with the elite officer, it becomes quite powerful way to get another attack. If you're already set up, you have to be in position already, right? Because it's kind of like pummel for elite officers, but a little more powerful, of course, since you get to make ranged attacks and they can reach out one more space. But pretty cool. All right. Are we going to see a pass here? Because I see another officer is now activating. I don't know why you would pass. You would definitely want to activate R2-D2 here. Oh, did Jay have... Oh, Jay must have used Take Initiative. Because now there it is. There's Take Initiative. So Jay exhausted an officer for Take Initiative. I didn't see it because the cards are being played off to the side for some reason of the map. That's fine, but we're going to zoom in so you guys can see what's going on. So Take Initiative was played, so Jay had initiative. So John did not pass. So that everything I said about John passing and leaving Chewie in the open, just ignore that. That was me being stupid. John just got wrecked by Take Initiative is what happened there. He did not have a chance to react to that. Although again, he did open his door round 1. And then left Chewie there. And you know what, guys? I played a game where I did exactly that same thing, and I also got punished, I left a queen piece standing next to the door that I opened myself for round 1, thinking that I would be safe and I could punish my opponent if they opened their door, and I got punished in the exact same way in like the first, I think it might have been the first or second game I played on this map. So. But I get to choose to not show that game because this is my YouTube channel. I don't know, maybe I will. I think I will show that game because that was a pretty interesting game and it was a league game also. Okay, so we're going to be using Heart of Freedom with Garkon. Going to remove the stun. Still going to be weakened though. Or not. What's happening? Nope, going to activate Gideon first. Nope. Gonna activate Garkon first. Yep, there we go. Gonna play Heart of Freedom, get rid of the stun. Gets 2 extra move points. Gonna come in and do some work, hopefully. Nice. Gonna play a beatdown again from season 9. Beatdown now only works twice. You can only get +2 damage total. But he is weakened, so he's going to lose a surge here. And there's a block token being spent. Not bad, actually. It looks like he's going to get to just do the surge for +1 and avoid the Zillow Technique Pierce reduction. That's a lot of damage coming in. What is that? 8, 9 with the surge. So he's doing 7. Okay, gonna use. Oh, what did we just see? Brace. We saw brace for impact. Okay, well, the Death Trooper took 6 and is now bleeding. And then Garkon gonna take a strain from Brutal Cleave, so loses Take Initiative, which is probably fine. It's not, that card's not gonna be relevant for another 2 turns. Also gets the beatdown bonus on this attack, and this is targeting looks like the heavy trooper who spends a block token. So we're looking at 4 damage against 2 blocks, so 2 damage to the... Oh no, the weaken's gonna stop that, so going to be 2 damage to the heavy trooper. I'm not sure where the second +1 damage is coming from. Oh, the power tokens. That's what it was. The retaliate, the retaliate power tokens plus the beatdown, really good with Garkon. But unfortunately, did not wasn't able to kill any of the troopers, so we'll have to hopefully get them on the crackback. Gonna activate the Death Trooper for Jayjaxx attacking Garkon. Kind of awkward there with the Retaliate, because I think Garkon had block tokens on him. Although, no, I guess he spent both of his block tokens against the 2 Heavy Trooper attacks. Actually, that worked out really well. But in a lot of cases, it might be awkward. Ooh, big attack, big attack. Gonna use Krennic to double the damage power token here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like Garkon gonna take 5 damage from that one. And why is he getting stunned? I don't understand what's... Oh, I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting about covering fire. Yeah, so that's why. Surge for stun. That is really rough. But Garkon gonna play Furious Charge here to ready. He's gonna have to survive another attack though, because the elite officers are not gonna be active. Oh no, the elite officer already went, so he can only activate Krennic here. So Death Trooper gonna field tactics to allow Krennic to activate. Krennic is going to give a power token to the Heavy Trooper, then gonna step up and attack Garkon. Garkon has, what, 14 health? 13 health, so you can only take 6 more damage. Krennic actually hits quite hard for 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, minus 2, so 4 damage. And now Garkon going to be able to reactivate here. But this is going to create some problems for John. But obviously you have to react. You want to use him, you don't want to lose him. I mean, John's down to just 2 attackers at this point, so. Yep, gonna attack with Garkon. 4, 5, 6, so 4 damage to this Heavy Stormtrooper. Then gonna use Brutal Cleave. Probably take a damage. Oh, nope, gonna go for the, yeah, that makes sense. Go for the damage Death Trooper. You gotta try to finish things off and remove figures from play. That's being discarded for Strain, which is interesting. I find it interesting that John is choosing to discard command cards here when Garkon's probably not going to survive any other attacks, no matter how much damage you prevent from Strain. But just going to do 2 damage, but that is enough to get through Zillow and kill this Death Trooper, and puts John on the board here with 4 VPs. And now the Heavy Trooper is going to activate, going to attack Garkon and remove him from play. 4, 5. And we can see that Turret is a little too far away. Also, it's very sad that we have Detru Paid trapped in our hand. 3-point card that is effectively dead. And now we have the real problem, which is Lion Ambush's wording. So Lion Ambush says, if it's the second round or later, after an opponent activates a group, if you have 3 or more exhausted or defeated groups, and it is not the first round, deploy this group to any deployment zone. So as we can see here, because of how Jayjaxx's turn went, where he played Take Initiative, so he had exhausted his officer, he then activated the Heavy Stormtrooper, strengthened numbers into a Death Trooper, field tactics into another officer, so that was immediately 4 deployment cards exhausted in the first activation. He then did that again with another Death Trooper and Krennic, right? So that was 2 more, and then the Heavy Trooper. So he exhausted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deployment cards in just 3 activations. And on the flip side, we have John, who was only able to activate basically 1 deployment card during that time because of Furious Charge and how that ended up happening. So now, because John is 1 short, if he had activated Turret or somebody else instead of Garkon there, he would have gotten to deploy his Ewoks. But just a quirk of with how Lion Ambush works, the Ewoks are going to be trapped for 1 round in Limbo, which is going to be really rough. So Gideon going to activate, going to focus Turret from there. R2 going to draw a card. 3PO gonna move down. Not sure where we're gonna go. 3PO. Oh, nice. Turret is gonna activate and play light bow, so gonna be able to make a ranged attack here with his command card. Hopefully going for Krennic. Does he make accuracy? He does get +2 built in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Range 6. Oh yeah, we've got accuracy. Accuracy for days. Does he not kill Krennic with this? This is such a good attack. 6 damage. No, Krennic has 7 health because he's 5 points. So that is unfortunate. And now Jay is going to have initiative, and Turret, unfortunately, standing in the open. Doesn't Turret have... Oh, he only has 4 speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he doesn't have 5 speed. So he's going to have to just stand there and take probably a double shot from the Death Troopers. Oh, did we see Take Initiative played? Looks like John did play Take Initiative. Oh no, Jay had initiative last round, so John has initiative this round. Gonna get aggressive with Turret here, which actually kind of makes sense. You can use I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me to reduce some damage taken and also hopefully deal some ping damage. Gonna use Element of Surprise on this Heavy Trooper. Gonna try and kill Krennic with the cleave, it looks like here, and Element of Surprise should help with that. Oh, but is negation being played? Looks like negation was played, but he's got the surges, so he just needs 1 surge to deal cleave 1 to Krennic since he does have reach. And gonna do 3, 4, 5, -2, so 3 damage to this Heavy Trooper, and then takes out Krennic with the cleave 1. So John now at 9 points, Jay already at 22. And he needs to remember to use I am one with the Force here. And I think he forgot. But he's still going to get the bonus from the Forces with me. Because you choose an adjacent hostile figure. So just choose that Heavy Stormtrooper. You get to apply -1 damage. What is happening? Why is there black dice? There we go. And also what is happening? Why is there a +1 damage? Okay, you know, he did remember, so he did 1 damage to that Heavy Trooper. And are they counting it as... He should be taking 4 damage there. Oh no, 3 damage. Okay, so yeah, they totally used Forces with me. He needs to move Turret, though. You need to use I am one with the Force. Weakened. Turret. He didn't use it, so now he does not get to benefit from the Forces with me. There, okay, there we go. Now John's remembering to use it. Yeah, John should have moved to where that Heavy Trooper was. Just be next to all those troopers. But this is fine. Ooh, maybe not fine. So right now we're looking at 5 damage. -1, so -2 is going to be 3 damage to Turret here. Does 1 more to the Death Trooper. And now, because Turret activated, and then he has a dead Garkon and a dead Chewie, now the Ewoks will come in. So let's see what these guys can do. See if they can swing the tide of this battle. Luckily they came in pretty early there. They are all going to be hidden. We're going to see a melee attack on this trooper, which gets +1 damage. Oh, that is a bad roll though. We're going to do Surge for +1, Surge for Hide. So 2 damage, Pierce 1 against 2 blocks. So he's just going to exhaust Zillow, take 0 damage. It's unfortunate. I think you just keep the teddy bears in there. Let's try again. There we go. That's what the roll you're looking for. So 5 damage, Surge for +1. Or actually probably Surge for Pierce 1 and Hide now that Zillow's been exhausted. So we're going to deal 5 damage to this Heavy Trooper. Takes it out. Should still be hidden. There you go. And 1 more. Going to come in and take out another Heavy Stormtrooper. These Ewoks are coming to the rescue. 3 damage, Pierce 1. Yeah, that should be enough to take this Heavy Stormtrooper out. So the Ewoks coming in to clean up for John. Goes up to 18 points. He's still got Death Trooper and 2 full health heavy troopers to deal with. But actually, it's looking like this might be turning around. But what do we got for Jay? Jay has... Oh, but he still got his 2 elite officers and the heavy troopers. So those elite officers, I mean, are basically real attackers. Plus they can attack themselves, and they have surge for +2 damage. So it looks like the Death Trooper is going to activate, going to attack the hidden Ewok. And the Ewoks only have 3 health too, so these guys go down pretty quickly once the Empire actually starts attacking back. 3PO going to focus R2-D2, okay. Yep, might as well, because R2-D2 might have to attack here. There's another dead Ewok. Yeah, these Ewoks are just going to get one-tapped by these troopers. And then Blast 2. Oh, it's just going to take out turret. Ouch. And then now we're going to go for R2-D2. Ooh, with the token and the high roll, that's going to be doing 5 damage to R2-D2. And now R2-D2 is going to have to... Oh, and stun. Did he stun him? How did he stun R2-D2? No, weakened. Okay. With suppressive fire. R2-D2 going to go for the attack. Going to do 2 damage. Oh no, he doesn't make range, does he? Oh no, does he have +2? Oh, he does. He has +2 accuracy built in. And +1 surge. So he's actually going to stun and do 2 damage, it looks like. Or weaken. I don't know, he might want to weaken. Oh, did he forget the extra surge? I think he forgot the extra surge. And now the officer going to have the Death Trooper take out the final Ewok. Jay's going to go to 33 points. And yeah, that went from looking like a decent battle to being pretty one-sided. Gideon going to come in. It's down to just the Rebel Care package trying to handle all these figures. Nice attack from Gideon though. 4 damage to that heavy Stormtrooper. But now Gideon is going to take attacks from the officer. 3 damage from the officer. And a attack from the heavy Stormtrooper. Triple block though. Great defense and a bad attack roll. But still going to take 1 damage from that. And then we're going into the final round. But it looks like the game log ends there. So there you go. That was a long one. I do want to show how I would have done the Rebel deployment a little bit differently. Let me see if I can do that. I showed this on the Discord, but I want to show it real quick here. Alright, so let's, I'm going to fast forward to the end of round 1. So we can see where everybody ended up. Oh, okay, so let's actually go back. So yeah, so instead of doing it like this, okay, so yeah, instead of like this, if we start Gideon back here, first of all, just so he's next to the tap, you can interact with it. Instead of having Turret and Garkon there, we could have had Turret start off by picking up this tap and then coming here. Right? And then Garkon could have been here, Chewie here. Let's not open the door. You put R2 here so that he can open the door after he draws a card, and you've got a nice little line of sight blocking figure if you need it. And there we go. So from here, I mean, John is going to get initiative, but the cool thing is that now, if Jay opens this door, Garkon's in a really good spot where he can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and he can attack anything in this area with focus whenever Jay opens that door. Also, again, if Jay opens his door now, John can respond by opening his door and drawing a card with R2. And then, if he wanted to, he could come and bring out Chewie and attack into Jay's forces. And the cool thing is that if Jay then kills R2-D2, then Chewbacca can retaliate with debts repaid and go again and attack again with focus. So I think that's how I would have done this instead of being really aggressive. You kind of have to pick your spot. So I think this spot is really good for the red deployment zone, because you can go around here and attack their terminal area that way. If you have a range melee figure that can move 8 and attack, which a lot of them can nowadays. Unfortunately, this doesn't work great on this side because of this blocking terrain. So instead, what you can do is you can actually put a figure here to do the same thing, and you're still pretty safe from your opponent's terminal forces. Although if they sneak somebody over here, they might still be able to attack you pretty badly from, I think it's this spot, or no, it might be this space right here. Can actually draw a line of sight to that. Yeah, so anyway, but if you're on the blue side, you put somebody here, then you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and especially if you have reach, and you can move 8 like Garkon, which makes Garkon particularly useful because he has reach and he can move 8 spaces in attack. I think this is a really good spot for Garkon to be. Again, either here for the red side or here if you're on the blue side. Can really punish your opponent if they open their door to their terminal, because you can reach their terminal sitter with Garkon. Something like Ahsoka, you'd have to have a movement point card in hand in addition to using Vigor plus Force Leap. Although the nice thing about Ahsoka is you can Force Leap across this stuff. So you could go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to get here or here. So anyway, yeah, definitely gonna make a video about this map. I think it's a really interesting map, very challenging to play on if you are the melee list. But anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. We'll definitely do some more game log reviews now that we're into the competitive skirmish season. We've got a lot. I've got 54 game logs already uploaded in the first, geez, it's only been like a week, 2 weeks since 9.2 got announced, so you guys have been playing a lot of games. Alright, we'll catch you later.